For many of us, it happens like clockwise. For many of us, it happens like clockwork. After lunch, maybe sometime around 3 p.m., our eyelids get heavy and we find ourselves stifling yawns as we struggle to stay alert. But when bedtime finally rolls around, sleep seems impossible. Our minds race with worry about all the things we didn't get done today, or what may happen tomorrow, and the shut eye we so desperately wished for a few hours earlier becomes elusive. Why is it that afternoon slump gets some of us so hard? Why is it that the afternoon slumps get some of us so hard and then we can't fall asleep later on? If you can identify with this dilemma, watch on to find out what the culprit could be and how revamping your morning routine could make a huge difference in your energy level all day and night long. If you stumble to the kitchen and pour yourself a cup of ambition as soon as you wake up in the morning, you are in a good company. The National Coffee Association recently released a report showing that coffee consumption is the highest it's been in 2 decades, with 66% of Americans saying they enjoy the brewed beverage every day. That makes coffee more popular than water, diet soda, or any other drink. Not surprising considering the number of coffee shops you will find in any major city, and the ambiguity of countertop coffee makers in American kitchens. The boost we get from coffee's caffeine content. A typical mug contains about 96 milligrams of the drug, and yes, it is a drug. If only part of its appeal, the ritual of making or ordering it, the rich aroma and the soothing feeling of sipping something warm on a cold day or cold on a hot day, if you are an iced coffee devotee, are all part of what makes coffee a beloved part of the morning routine. But if you find your energy flagging in the afternoon and you struggle to sleep at night, you might want to rethink your relationship with coffee. Many people turn to caffeine to increase energy or alertness during the day, especially if they feel tired. The problem here is that if you are relying on it as an upper energy source when tired, it will only temporarily help. Once the caffeine wears off, you will most likely feel more tired than you originally did, which can start a cycle of caffeine dependence. Of course, not everyone responds to caffeine in the same way. Caffeine is metabolized by an enzyme in the liver. 50% of people have a variant in a particular gene that leads to slow processing of caffeine, and these people are considered slow metabolizers. These people may feel the effects of caffeine much longer than people whose systems clear the drug more quickly, making them feel jittery and keyed up for hours after draining their daily cup of joe. For these slow metabolizers, there are other health risks. They are at increased risk of heart disease, hypertension, mood disorders, and impaired fasting glucose when they consume caffeine or a certain amount of caffeine. If anxiety keeps you up at night, if anxiety keeps you up at night even after you spent the afternoon battling fatigue, coffee could be to blame for that too. Caffeine can trigger the release of the fight or flight hormone, adrenaline, which in some people is good because it makes them feel more alert and wakeful. But in others, especially those slow metabolizers, caffeine can lead to anxiety and nervousness. Caffeine-induced anxiety disorder is now one of four caffeine-related caffeine-related syndromes that appears in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, published by the American Psychiatric Association. If you are a coffee lover, the thought of getting through a morning without it may be distressing to say the least. But believe it or not, there are alternatives to that steamy, caffeine-laden drink that might be even more effective at perking you up. One of the most surprising substitutes for a cup of coffee, an apple. Yes, that's right, the good old apple a day. That's said to keep the doctor away may also help wake you up in the morning without keeping you awake at night. According to Cornell University's blog, thanks to their natural sugar content, apples provoke a similar response to caffeine because vitamins from the apple are released slowly throughout the body, making you feel more awake. Even better, and like caffeine, there are no jolts, mood swings, anxiety, jitters, or the dready crash, their experts write. Getting natural sunlight in the morning and going for a brisk walk can help wake you up as well, studies have found. And one, of course, if you really can't give up your coffee habit, there is always decaf.